The whistle of the train pierced the fog, shrill and imperative, a warning no one heeded. It was 2 in the morning in Blackwater, Pennsylvania, a forgotten coal mining village nestled in the Allegheny Mountains, where every breath smelled of sulfur and regret. Most folks in Blackwater did not believe in ghosts anymore, but they all knew the legends of the old number 47, the coal train which derailed in '63, killing everyone on board. They claimed it still rode on occasion, cutting through the fog on nights when the moon did not rise, its cars crashing with the load of the dead. I never did think it myself, not until that October night when I saw it for myself. And I'll say this, once you've seen something like that, you don't sleep the same. I'm Caleb, and I'm no ghost hunter or thrill seeker with a GoPro duct taped to my melon. I'm just a guy, 29 years old, working nights at the gas station on Route 19 to pay off my mom's medical bills. Blackwater's the kind of place where nothing happens, where the biggest news is when the diner gets a new coffee machine. But that night, something felt off. The air was thick, heavy with a damp chill that clung to your skin. I was stocking the packs of cigarettes behind the counter when my buddy Jake burst through the door, his face white as ash. "Caleb, you gotta go outside, now!" His voice was shaking, something he never did. Jake's a large, ex-linebacker sort of guy who isn't easily intimidated. He was out of breath, his eyes wide, like he had seen something that he couldn't forget. "Something's wrong," I said, already zipping on my jacket. The gas station was as still as a tomb, only the hum of the fluorescent lights and the gentle purr of the neon outside. "The train," he whispered. I heard it, saw the light. "It's out there, man." I stopped. "The train?" "Jake, come on, that's just old-timer nonsense." He grabbed my arm, his grip so tight it hurt. "I'm not bullshitting. I was coming home from the quarry and I saw it. The tracks up by the old mill. Glowing, Caleb. Glowing." I wanted to laugh it off, but the look on his face prevented me. Jake wasn't the kind of guy who lied. I followed him out, the over-the-door bell jingling as we stepped out into the mist. The parking lot was empty, street lamps faintly illuminating halos in the fog. Beyond the lot, the old railroad tracks ran parallel to Route 19, rusty and heavy with weeds. They'd not been in use since the mines closed in the '80s, but everyone in Blackwater knew the tales. Number 47, the ghost train, doomed to run forever after it overshot the rails and wrecked into Blackwater Creek, killing 42 passengers and crewmen. Some accused the engineer of getting drunk on moonshine. Some said the train was haunted, built on land that did not want it. We stood there gazing out into the fog, the quiet so heavy it felt as if it was bearing down on my chest. And then I heard it, a low, faraway rumble, like thunder moving in from the mountains. My gut nodded. "That's not a train," I said, more to try and believe myself than Jake. "Perhaps a truck on the highway." Jake shook his head. "No chance. Listen." The rumble louder, closer, and then I heard it, the whistle, a prolonged, mournful scream that cut through the blackness like a blade. My skin crawled. The sound was not quite natural. It was too sharp, too vibrant, as if something sprouted from my own head. Then I saw something, a strange light in the distance, cutting through the fog like a beam of light. It wasn't steady like the headlamps of a car. It fluctuated, throbbed, as if something breathed. "Jake, what in the world is that?" I panted. He didn't answer. He just pulled on my shirt and pulled me along behind him. "We're going to follow it." I should have said no. I should have spun around, head back inside, lock the door, and pretend I hadn't seen anything. But there was something about that light, that sound. It sucked me in, like it was calling to me. We climbed into Jake's beat-up F-150, the engine revving as he screeched out of the parking lot. The tracks ran parallel to the road for miles, cutting through the middle of Blackwater before curving towards the old mill and the creek beyond. We rode the glow, the tires of the truck vibrating with every crack in the pavement. The light drew nearer and was brighter, and now I could make out the form of it. A single headlamp, swaying back and forth as if it was on a track. The clatter was louder also, a rhythmic clack, clack, clack that vibrated in my chest. I crouched forward, looking out the windshield. "Jake, slow down, that's not..." The words stuck in my throat. Out of the mist, I saw it. A train. Not an Amtrak or freighter with its streamlined styling, but a steam engine. Black iron that caught the moonlight and made it shine. Behind it came passenger cars, their windows emitting a yellowed light. I could see people inside, shadows moving, but not quite right. They were too thin, too tall, as if people pulled out of shape. "Jake, stop the truck!" I shouted, my heart pounding so hard I thought it was going to burst. He slammed on the brakes, and we skidded onto the side of the road on the shoulder. The train was maybe 100 yards ahead of us, moving slow, deliberate, as if it was beckoning us along. The whistle screamed again, and this time I could swear I heard voices in it. Whispers, screams, piled on top of each other until they were one terrible sound. I put my hands over my ears, but that didn't help. The voices were inside my head, begging, sobbing, screaming. "We have to leave," I said, my words trembling. Jake didn't move. His eyes were on the train, his hands clutched around the wheel so tightly his knuckles gleamed white. "You see that?" he panted. "The windows." I spun and stared, and my blood ran cold. The forms in the windows weren't just moving, they were staring at us. They were faces, pale and distorted, against the glass, eyes black and empty. Some were open-mouthed as if they screamed, but no sound came from them. Some smiled, but it was not a human smile. It was too wide, too grotesque. I pinched down on Jake's shoulder. "Drive. Now." He shook himself out of it, putting the truck in gear. We raced down Route 19, the train keeping pace with us beside us, its cars rattling like skeletons. I kept my eyes on the road, but I could feel it. The eyes seeing, waiting. The air in the truck was thick, like we were breathing in something alive. My skin crawled, and every hair on my body stood on end. We didn't slow until we reached the edge of town, where the tracks diverged into the creek. The light vanished, the rumble faded, and the whistle emitted one last, fading shriek before it fell quiet. Jake pulled the car to the side of the road, his hands shaking as he lit a cigarette. "What in the world was that?" he breathed. "I don't know," I muttered, my throat parched. "But I'm not going out again." That should have been the end of it. I should have turned around and gone home, locked my doors, and never uttered a peep. But Blackwater's too tiny a town, and secrets don't remain hidden for long. The next day, I couldn't help but feel something was amiss. The air was heavier, shadows longer. I kept hearing that whistle in my head, low and insistent, like a melody that I couldn't shake. I called Jake, but he didn't answer. I drove over to his place, a trailer on the outskirts of town, and found his truck in the driveway, driver's side door open. The trailer inside was a mess. Furniture overturned, dishes shattered, like there had been a fight. Jake was nowhere around. His phone, wallet, and keys were still sitting on the counter, but no Jake. I went down to the police, but they refused to take me seriously. "Jake's probably drunk somewhere," Sheriff Hargrove said, reclining in his chair. "You know how he is." I attempted to explain to him about the train, but he laughed. "Ghost stories, Caleb? You're too old for that." I wasn't laughing. That evening, I returned to the gas station, but I couldn't focus. Every groan of the building, every gust of wind made me jump. At midnight, it returned. The whistle, low at first, almost drowned out by the hum of the coolers, but louder, closer. I ran to the window, my throat tight. The tracks were lit again, that same yellowish glow, and there it was. Number 47, creeping slow, its cars rocking like a snake. This time I did not listen. I locked the door, turned off the lights, and hid at the back of the counter, hoping it would go over. But it didn't. The thunder increased, the ground shaking under my feet, and then I heard the worst. Footsteps. Heavy, slow, from the back of the store. I grabbed the baseball bat we had hidden behind the register, my clammy hands holding it tight. "Who is there?" I cried, my voice shaking. Nothing, just the footsteps, slow and measured, coming closer. I hunched over the counter, and my own breath was trapped. A figure stood in the aisle, tall and thin, its face hidden in darkness. It was not Jake. It was not human. Its head tilted to one side as if studying me, and then it grinned, that dreadful, too-wide grin I'd seen in the train windows. I had swung the bat, but it was gone, vanishing like smoke. The whistle screamed again, and I ran after him outside, not stopping at the store or the bat or anything. The train remained there, stopped on the rails, doors open, and in the doorway I saw him. Jake. He was standing there, his eyes blacked out, his face twisted into that very same ugly smile. "Caleb," he told him, his voice off as if it wasn't his. "Come with us." I ran till my lungs were blazing, till the whistle was out of hearing. Didn't stop till I was at my apartment door, locked and curtains drawn. I didn't rest that first night, or the second. Every time I was drifting into sleep, I'd dream of Jake's face, the vacant eyes, the smile. The days that followed were a blur. The police searched for Jake, but they never found him. The reports said that he likely had run out of town, but I knew better. I started digging into the history of number 47, hours spent in the library reading through old newspaper stories. I found stories of the crash, stories of the 42 who had passed away, but there was more. Something that no one would say. The land that had been built on by the tracks, it was Shawnee land. They'd warned the settlers not to build there. The land was poor, cursed, they told them. The railroad company didn't listen, but they never do. I started noticing afterwards, whispers around the corner of my eye, whispers in my ear at night, the smell of coal dust in my flat. Even when I hadn't been anywhere near the tracks, I stopped going to work. I stopped going out. But it didn't make any difference. The train found me. I woke to the whistle, booming and clean, as though it were in front of my window. I lurched to the window, my heart thudding. The trains do not run anywhere near my apartment building, but there it was, number 47, half obscured in the middle of the street, its headlight cutting through the night. The doors were open, and Jake was there, calling me. I don't know why I walked out. I don't know why I went towards it. Maybe I was tired of running. Maybe I just wanted to know things. The wind was cold, the earth trembling under my feet as I approached. Jake's grin never wavered, but his eyes, they were no longer his eyes. They were black, bottomless, like looking into an abyss. "Get on," he said, his voice echoing with others, a chorus of the dead. I took a step back, shaking my head. "Number, I'm not going." "You don't have a choice," he said, and the doors behind him started to close. That was when I saw it, the truth. The train was not a ghost train. It was alive, hungry, and it had been living off Blackwater for generations. The crash in '63 was no accident. The train took those people, and it was still taking them. Jake, the rest of them, they were not dead. They were part of it now, stuck in its cars, its windows, its endless ride. I turned and ran, running faster than I ever ran before. The whistle followed me, ground trembly, but I didn't look back. I ran until I left Blackwater behind, thumbing rides to Pittsburgh and then beyond. I don't know if it still does. Sometimes I can hear the whistle, far but there, as if it waits. I'm telling you this because you need to know. In the event you find yourself in Blackwater, if you see those tracks spreading out, if you hear that whistle, keep your distance. Don't get near. Run and do not look back, because number 47 is not a train. It's something different, something that won't let go. If this story creeped you out, hit a like and subscribe for more scary stories from the darkness. Leave a comment below. Has anything ever happened to you that you couldn't explain? Maybe something's watching you too. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.